Hi, welcome to the studio. Today I'm going to be painting a chicken. It's a commission. It's a little bit different than what I typically would do. Usually I do a background that's blue, maybe have some clouds in it, like this donkey. The client didn't like that blue. So I went out to the barn on the property here. It's like a 150-year-old barn, and I took a picture of the barnwood and I put it in Procreate, and then a picture of one of our chickens. I think it's Ruby. Put it all together and then use that as the reference. Went in and painted the background, got that the way I wanted it. Let that dry, and then made some marks on it. Did a rough sketch. Went in and just started blocking out the colors, doing kind of a rough idea of the colors and where they're at. Not a lot of detail. Don't want to get too detailed at this point. I don't anyway. So I always start on the beak, almost always. And unless it's a portrait and I start on the nose. I don't know if the beak and the nose are the same thing anatomically, but that's how I do it usually. And then I work out from there. So I start from light and go to dark. Which I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but nobody taught me how to paint. I taught myself, and that's what works for me. So I start with the white. I'm going in there. What I'm doing is mostly mixing the paint on the canvas. I'm not mixing it. I mix a little bit on the palette, but usually I put colors in there and small amounts, blend them together, and do that actually on the canvas. And that works best for me. That's what I like to do, and that's why I'm going to keep doing it. After getting the beak kind of dialed in, or pretty much where I want it, pretty close. I'll go back in there and mess around with it a little bit. Then I go to the eye. And the eye is like, pretty major focal point on any of these paintings. There's a lot of expression conveyed in the eye. It's like kind of a major thing. It's a big part of what you're looking at and what gives it, a sense of being alive. And that white little reflection on there is kind of a nice little, thing to add in there. It adds a little life, makes it look a little bit more realistic, makes it a little more personality, let's say. I wish I could paint this fast in reality, because if I could, I'd be a billionaire. What I'm doing here is I have the blocked in colors that are pretty much where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be. Kind of the darks are always darker, the lights aren't as light. So I'm going in there and I'm painting over all of it and using that as I'm painting as somewhat of a reference point of where I want these colors to be. I paint over it with kind of a wash, I guess you'd call it. Pretty light paint, starting out with that, so I can still, I still have an idea of what's underneath. And then, looking at the reference photo, I can tell exactly what I want to do here. So I go in there and, paint over it with that's cadmium red. Um, I'm using alizarin crimson, uh, ivory black, and titanium white. Just painting that over, blended all the colors together with a fan brush. Doing the same on that, whatever that thing is on the cheek. I don't know what that's called. Is that the cheek waddle? The chottle? Well, I don't know. I did the same thing on the comb up on the top. Same kind of technique, going in and painting. It took me a little bit of time to dial that in, to figure out exactly the technique I wanted to use and make it look not over the top. It's kind of, it's your eye. That's what people like. You're being an artist. What you see, what you're painting is what you want other people to see. And it seems like your perspective, my perspective, is what people like to see, is what people want to see in a painting. So that's what I give them, what I think it should look like. Blend that all together with the fan brush. And then after the waddle, the comb, the chottle, it's basically go in there and do the rest of the feathers, paint that in. I mean, that takes some time. It's not that bad though. And then I think I went over all of it with a fan brush again. And then it's done. That's it. That's the end of it. It's a beautiful thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.